What is going on, peeps? Today we got something quite a bit different than the norm. It is springtime here in the UP, and it is leek season. So I went and picked some last week and canned them all up, pickled them all up. So I realized that they go real quick. They're delicious. So I'm back out, going to try and pick a few more. So as you can see here, there's really no shortage. I mean, there must be hundreds of thousands of them in here. They're everywhere, and they're delicious. So I don't know if you guys know anything about leeks, but it's like a wild onion. Some people call them ramps. But they grow up here in the UP. They grow in like eastern Canada, stuff like that. So they're quite plentiful, and you got to get them at the right time. You only have so much time to dig them, or else they start getting mushy. So that's what we're gonna do here today. So what I like to do is find a nice little bunch of them here. So use the shovel to kind of free them up a little bit. And pull them out. And that's what they look like here. Just like an onion. So I'm gonna mosey around here and dig up a few and see how many we can get here. All right, and our next step here is going to be preparing the brine. I like to do this quick and get it cooking while I go clean the leeks. So pour some vinegar in there. Don't ask me for a recipe because I never measure anything. But do some vinegar, pour a little water. I do probably like a, not quite half and half. I'd use a little bit more vinegar than water. Fired up. Then I use some mixed pickling spice. It's got a lot in it, but I usually add a little bit more on top of that. So that and some little bit of salt, just Himalayan pink salt. You can use any salt really. Some black peppercorn, get a little bit of kick. I like to use some whole fennel seed in mine as well. Just add a little bit of flavor. And let's see, a little bit of Cajun spice, kind of give it a little bit of a kick. Now I'm gonna add a little bit of sugar just to tone that vinegar down a smidge. And then I'm going to let this all cook, and in the meantime I'm going to go clean up the leeks and get them ready, get them washed off, cut up, all that stuff, get them ready for jarring. So I like to do this, heat this all up, let it incorporate, you know, melt, dissolve the salt, sugar, stuff like that, and then I like to let it cool, so that way you don't overcook the leeks. I've had issues before where you put the brine in hot, and then when you go to pressure can it, it's hot, and it ends up making them a little bit more squishy than you kind of want them to be. So I just I let this dissolve and then turn it off, let it cool, and that way when the brine goes in it's not super hot and cooking the leeks before you even pressure can them. So gonna go out and clean off them leeks, and see you guys in a second. Alright, now I gotta clean up these bad boys. This is kind of a boring process, and it takes a lot of time, but in the end, totally worth it. Oh, look at that beefcake, giant. So I'm gonna get through the rest of these. I got a whole nother bag to go through. I'm gonna get through the rest of these and then show you my process with the brine and cooking them down and all that stuff. So see y'all in a minute. We got them all trimmed and rinsed off a little bit. Take them inside, do a final cleaning on them, make sure they're all nice and good and clean. So see you in a minute. So I don't know about you guys, but I like garlic. So what I do is add a couple slices to each jar of, you know, add a couple slices of fresh garlic to each jar. One, it gives it a little bit more flavor, and two, pickled garlic, in my opinion, is one of the greatest things ever. So I like to add a little bit of garlic to my cans when I'm pickling. So real easy, just take a little bit of fresh garlic, slice it up, add a couple slices to each jar. So now that we got them cleaned, they're all jarred up. I'm also doing some asparagus. Figured while I have the brine, I might as well do a little bit of pickled asparagus. So now I'm going to just add a few cloves of garlic to each one, throw some in the asparagus too, kind of pack that in there. Because you can never go wrong with a little bit of garlic, in my opinion. So just add a little bit of garlic to these. I'm also, like I said before, I did a larger batch. I got about 10 quarts of LEEKS in the last batch that I made. So this one, it's small batch, right? And I figured I'd switch it up a little bit with this one. I'm gonna add this spice I made last year, and basically what it is I dehydrated a bunch of different peppers. So we have jalapeno, we got serrano, we got habanero, a little bit of ghost pepper, some Carolina Reaper. It's really, it's hot. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to add a little bit of this to each one of these and see if I can give it just a little bit of kick. Oh, I can smell it. So again, I got a couple batches of just regular, and then I'm going to do a couple spicy. I'm going to add these to the asparagus as well. Just to add a little bit of spice. I like to add that stuff to a lot of different stuff, you know, like chili and all that. So here's our brine. I like to ladle it in. Brine's cool-ish. And when you do add this brine, you want to make sure that you leave a little bit of headspace. So you want to make sure you leave like ½ inch or so at the top open. You don't want to fill it all the way to the top. Yeah, I don't know why, but that's just how you do it. I'll get the asparagus all brined up. And it looks like I'm going to have a little bit extra on the brine. I thought I might be a little short, but I went a little ham on that. So I do have a little extra brine, which I'll just take this and put it in just an empty jar and use it for the next batch of whatever I want to pickle. Might actually do some pickles next time. See how that ends up ends up working. But yeah, I got a little bit of extra brine here, but definitely want to save that. You don't want to throw that away. So I'm going to throw that in just an empty jar and use it for something else. So I'm going to get the lids on these, get them in the pressure canner, and see you in a second. Got a little can lifting rack here, and the water is nice and warm now, so we're going to just drop these down in there. Drop them down in there and get the lid on her. So on a pressure canner, you got this little top section here. This is going to be what's going to tell you when it's pressurized, right? So this should lift up once there's pressure built in there. That'll lift up. Once that lifts up and there's pressure built in, I like to cook for about 10 minutes and then release the pressure, pull the cans out, and I'll show you that in just a second. But let these cook for about 10 minutes once it's pressurized. Now that's just gonna kind of build that pressure inside that can. So once you take it out, you let it cool, that can will lock, and then you'll have a nice fresh canned leeks and asparagus. So we'll see you in a second. All right, now we've gone 10 minutes under pressure. Just gonna pull them out. That one's not gonna work. Good thing is we like pickled asparagus, so that's probably gonna be one we're gonna eat right away. So now that they've been pressure cooked, pressure canned, you let them go for a little while here. Them tops, you're gonna start, you hear like little pops, and that's when you know that they sealed. So that usually takes a little while. If it doesn't happen right away, just be patient. It'll happen. As long as you've done it right and cooked them for a decent amount of time, for like I said 10 minutes, you have them under pressure at least. You probably can go 10-15 minutes if you want. This lid here looks like we might have had something under the seal because it kind of looks a little funky, but these four here should be good to go. Like I said, just let them cool and they'll start to pop, and that's when you know that these lids are sealed. Then you can just store them in a cool, dry place, and these things are good for a year or two. You know, I think they say 18 months or something that they're good for, but you can probably push that out if you really wanted to. But as soon as these cool, I am going to label them all, because this is a spicy batch, so I am going to label these ones and make sure that I know which ones are which, because these are the spicy batch. So once they cool and dry, I am going to just write on them what they are and the date, so that way I know where everything's at. So yeah, that's pretty much it. Not real crazy. Hope y'all enjoyed the video. Something a little different than the norm, you know, knife making, fishing, stuff like that. Something a little different. I really enjoy foraging, harvesting, living off the land, you know, and we got lots of leeks and stuff like that. I'd love to get out and maybe do some morel hunting, morel mushrooms. I don't know if you guys are familiar with that, but morel mushrooms, they are freaking delicious. They're probably the best mushroom on the planet Earth. I would like to get out and do some of that. They're great fried. You can dry them out, dehydrate them, use them for soups and stuff like that. So I would like to do that. Hopefully we can get a video of that going here soon. from what I found so far, there's not a whole lot of morels out there right now. So hopefully they start popping here heavy pretty quick, because I'd love to get out and harvest a bunch of them pretty soon. So but I hope you all enjoyed the video. Like I said, something a little different. It's just cool. It's cool to go out and harvest some wild stuff and can them and stuff, making sure that they are good to go for a while, you know, and then you can kind of just snack on them for the next year, you know, and then next year we'll do the same thing all over again and harvest a few more and can a few more. So right now I have probably 15 to 20 pint jars of LEEKS, so hopefully that'll last a while. I know that you kind of go through them pretty quick, because like I said, they are delicious, so you do kind of go through them pretty quick. You know, I canned a dozen pint jars there the first time, and I went through 2 pint jars in the first 2 days. Just, you know, you cook up some brats, you throw some pickled leeks on some brats, and kind of whatever. But there are a few other things you can do with them. Like I said, harvest them, clean them up, and you can bread them and fry them. There's nothing wrong with a good solid fried onion. Pickle them like I do here. You can eat them raw. You know, just kind of slice them up, saute them, whatever. There's many different things you can do with them. So it's kind of the cool thing, you know, and they're in the woods. You know, they're plentiful. So again, I hope you all enjoyed the video. Something a little different than I normally do, but I enjoy doing it, so I hope you guys enjoy watching. So probably see you again next weekend when we're fishing a tournament. I got a bass tournament I'm fishing next weekend, so I'll probably see you again then. Hopefully we can get the W, because that would be cool. First ever fishing tournament I've ever been in. Regardless of species, first ever tournament I've ever been in, so pretty excited about it. Got the rods all rigged up, set up, ready to go. It is a one-day tournament. It's for largemouth bass on a local lake here, so I'm pretty excited about it. Hopefully we can get the W. We'll see. Knock on wood. No, it wasn't wood. Whatever. So yeah, hope y'all enjoy the video. If you do like this kind of content, definitely hit that like button. Maybe comment down below if there's something else you'd like to see, or whatever. I'm kind of down for whatever. So let me know and hit that subscribe button. I'd appreciate it. Any support I can get at this point right now, I'd certainly appreciate it. You know, the world's a crazy place right now. You know, like Corona and cops killing people and all that stuff. The world's a crazy place right now. So definitely, if you're into it, show some support. I'd appreciate it. So until next time, we'll catch you on the next one. Y'all stay safe. Y'all stay good. Bye-bye now.
Bioject.